Now, there have been significant developments about Nicholas Jackson this evening. Michael, tell us.
Well, Nicholas Jackson, there's interest from Bayern Munich, AC Milan and Juve as well. They've all explored the conditions.
Top clubs.
Top clubs indeed. It would have to be in line with fees paid for strikers in the current market. So that sounds to me like it would be pretty high. But it's interesting where he stands in terms of, you've got João Pedro at the moment, you've got Liam Delap joining from Chelsea as well. Now, Newcastle are thought to be keeping an eye on the situation as well. Number of strikers they're looking at. Obviously, they wanted Hugo Ekitike and Benjamin Sesko. So, new clubs in for him tonight. AC Milan, Juventus and Bayern Munich all exploring the conditions of a deal for Nicholas Jackson.
I want to get more into how much he might cost in a moment. First, though, I want to hear what Enzo Maresca has had to say about his striker.
No, Nico is okay. It's okay. I think, as I just said now, when the window transfer is open, unfortunately or fortunately, anything can happen. So this also involve Nico situation. At the moment, we also those arrived two strikers, both of them in USA, Joao and Liam. So we see what's happened. Until the window transfer is open, anything can happen in terms of player arrive, and then anything can happen in terms of player leave.
Now, Mark, we've spoken a lot about how much Nicholas Jackson will cost. Michael just alluded to it. Are they going to get the 80 to 100 million that Chelsea have said they want?
The short answer is no, but Florian Wirtz was 150 million euros. Liverpool paid 137.5. And there are other players out there. Victor Gyökeres had a €100 million release clause, and it ended up being between 60 and 70.
Which is Chelsea's point. They're going, well, the others are going for this, so we want this for Jackson.
Yes. Now, is Nicholas Jackson worth more than Victor Gyökeres? Is he worth more than Hugo Ekitike? It just depends. Ultimately, someone is only worth, A, what someone's willing to pay, and B, what someone's willing to sell. So I think their stance at the beginning of this is going to be market forces. Everyone wants a number 9. He's just had 2 solid seasons in the Premier League, nothing exceptional, but he has scored goals in the most difficult league in the world. So therefore, he's worth what we value him at 80 to 100 million. Whether they get that is another point, but their starting point is quite bullish. This is what we want.
But you know what? You look at who Chelsea have sold this summer. You talk about bullish. You can understand why. Noni Madueke, 48.5 million. Amanda Broja, we're going to talk later in the show, 20-odd million. Georgi Petrovic, around 25 million. João Felix, 26.5 million. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall barely played yet last season, around 28 million. No wonder they're a bit bullish. Or for me, though, if we're talking maybe a Nicholas Jackson to a potential Newcastle, he's not an upgrade on Alexander Isak. Absolutely not, but who is?
But is he any different from Benjamin Sesko, who they were wanted? Numbers, stats-wise, Mark.
Stats-wise, numbers-wise, no, they'd be very similar. And again, like Benjamin Sesko's doing it in a league that's not as difficult to score goals in as the Premier League. And that adjustment period going into English football can always hit players hard at times. And Benjamin Sesko, like, I don't know, Rasmus Højlund, might struggle a little bit at first. Would it be fair to say Didier Drogba didn't quite have the impact at first, but then became a machine? Yeah. So therefore, you'd have to say, well, you don't know how this one's going to fall. But Chelsea are perfectly within their rights. They paid around £35 million for him. That was his release clause from when he came out of La Liga. So they're looking at it thinking, right, A, we're going to double our money, give or take, which is great business. B, we know that there are a lot of clubs that are desperate, absolutely desperate for a number 9, and there's very few, if any, out there now. We know that all the big hitters we were talking about on the 1st of June have now gone to their respective clubs.
So he becomes more valuable as time goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. Less of a gamble. He knows the language. He knows the league. He knows the country. He's settled. So therefore, these are all things in Chelsea's armoury that say, well, these are all the gambles you don't have to take with this particular player. He's got 8 years left on his current Chelsea deal. So therefore, they hold the cards and they know that people need a number 9.
If he was to leave Chelsea, he is banned for the opening day for his red card at Newcastle.
We know Chelsea want Alejandro Garnacho. How much do United want for him?
They want around £50 million. Now, that's interesting because obviously he's got bags of potential, but it's clear that he wants a fresh challenge. Ruben Amorim constantly says it, and Manchester United are now expecting formal offers for the Chelsea target. So, look, we did allude to it at the start of the show. People saying, goodness me, Man United are spending money. That is one player where you would get decent figure for him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, indeed. Sticking with Chelsea, Levi Colwill, we now know is injured. Does that mean, Mark, Chelsea have to go into the market and get a defender?
Well, the good thing about Levi Colwill is that he could play multiple positions. Left back, left side of a back three, left side is centre back. So the fact that they're going to be losing him for some time is a real blow to Enzo Maresca. Chelsea's ability to find players, sign players and spend money in the transfer window is there for all to see. They've been very clever with their accounts, so they've got a lot of headroom when it comes to PSR. Do they want to go into the window? Possibly. Could they afford to? Definitely. Will they? Probably. They are a club that is basically, I always look at Chelsea right now, I'm so intrigued as to how they develop. Club World Cup champions, Champions League football. They've really started to develop back to the Chelsea that we have seen over the last 20 years under Roman Abramovich. And it feels like there is two sides to that club. There are players that they sign to try and go into that first team, and there are players that they sign that they see as really good market value, and actually we can sell him and make a profit because we're a really clever business. And that's probably how they identify the players they want to sign. So I definitely think defensively they are a little bit short. They would be looking at options. But again, is the right player out there at the right price?
Mark, I'm just being told you've got some breaking news for us. What have you got?
Yeah, I teased a little bit of breaking news in the 5 o'clock show. And this is significant news because AFC Bournemouth fans, pay attention. The club is in advanced talks with Lille over a deal for Bofodo Diakite, 24-year-old defender. He's been on Bournemouth's radar for the last couple of seasons. They're looking at strengthening at centre-back. We know that they've lost Dean Howson. We know that there's advanced talks in place between PSG and Ilya Zabani, so therefore it's likely they're going to lose another centre-back. And Sky Sports News understands the fee under discussion. We don't know the exact details, but it would potentially be the second most expensive signing in Bournemouth's history if it were to go through. I know it's been a frustrating summer for Bournemouth fans. They've been desperate to see new faces at the football club. They have sold a few players, but Bofodo Diakite of Lille, centre-back, could be on his way to the South Coast. Advanced talks happening as we speak between Lille and AFC Bournemouth, and that would be a significant statement signing. It would keep the fans happy, and once again, it'd be intriguing for people like us who watch their business so closely because, like Brentford, like Brighton, Bournemouth have been one of those sides that have got so much right in the transfer market over the course of the last 12, 18 months or so.
Right then, Blues faithful. This is absolutely mental what's happening at the Bridge right now. We've got some absolutely massive developments concerning one of our key players that's got the football world talking. And I need to break this down for you lot because this could change everything about our season. The story that's breaking tonight has got European giants circling like vultures. And it's all centered around someone who's been dividing opinion amongst us Chelsea fans for months. We're talking about serious interest from clubs that don't mess about when they want a player. The kind of clubs that can turn a player's head in a heartbeat. 3 absolute powerhouses have all made their intentions crystal clear, and the numbers being thrown about are frankly staggering. Before we dive deeper into this massive story, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit that notification bell because this transfer saga is moving fast, and you don't want to miss a single development. We're your go-to source for all things Chelsea, bringing you the exclusive analysis that other channels simply can't match. Now, based on our research from verified sources this evening, AC Milan, Juventus, and Bayern Munich are all exploring the conditions of a potential deal for Nicholas Jackson. This isn't just casual interest, mate. These are concrete enquiries from clubs that know exactly what they want. Milan are described as very interested and have already asked about the terms of a possible deal. What's fascinating is the financial side of this whole saga. Enzo Maresca, our current gaffer, who's been settling into life at Stamford Bridge brilliantly, was asked about this situation directly, and his response was telling. He basically said when the transfer window's open, anything can happen. Both players coming in and players leaving. That's manager speak for we're listening to offers, if you ask me. The asking price is where this gets really interesting, Blues. Chelsea have reportedly set asking prices ranging from $50 million to $100 million for our striker, with different sources suggesting varying valuations. The club's stance seems to be that if teams want to negotiate, they better come with serious money. Here's what's really clever about Chelsea's position. We're not desperate to sell, but we're also not stupid. David Ornstein has reported that Chelsea are not desperate to sell Jackson this summer, but he's amassed potential suitors amongst Premier League and European clubs. This puts us in a driving seat completely. Think about the context here. We've already done some brilliant business this summer. The confirmed arrivals of Liam Delap from Ipswich Town for $30 million and João Pedro from Brighton for $60 million have given us proper depth up front, which means we're not relying on any one player anymore. The arrivals of Liam Delap and João Pedro means Jackson isn't guaranteed to be Chelsea's first choice number 9, with Brazilian international Pedro likely to start the season leading the line. Bayern Munich's interest is particularly intriguing because they don't usually mess about in the transfer market. When Bayern wants someone, they typically get their man. The fact that they're actively exploring this deal alongside AC Milan and Juventus tells you everything about the quality we're dealing with here. As for the Italian giants, both Milan and Juventus bring different propositions to the table. Milan are thought to be asking for about $50 million, which they think is a more reasonable goal than some of their other choices. While Juventus secured Champions League qualification on the final day of last season, and they'll be desperate to close the gap to Napoli and Inter Milan next season. What's brilliant about our negotiating position is that we hold all the cards. The player's got years left on his contract, he's proven in the Premier League, and he's still young with massive potential. Unlike some transfers where clubs are desperate to offload, this is purely about maximizing value. The timing of all this is fascinating too. Newcastle are mentioned among clubs monitoring the situation, and there's even been whispers of interest from other Premier League clubs. Whether they'd match the valuations being discussed is another matter entirely. Meanwhile, we're also keeping busy on other fronts. There's ongoing speculation about our interest in Manchester United's Alejandro Garnacho, with United wanting $50 million for the winger, though that's a separate saga that's still developing. For us as Chelsea fans, this situation perfectly encapsulates where we are as a club right now. We've got strength in depth, we're not afraid to make big decisions, and we're in a position where we can be selective about our business. That's the mark of a club that's got its house in order. The real question now is what happens next. Will one of these European giants meet our valuation? Will our striker decide he fancies a new challenge abroad? Or will this whole saga actually strengthen our position by showing just how highly rated our players are across Europe? What I do know is this. Whatever happens, Chelsea are in complete control of this situation. We've got options, we've got alternatives already lined up with Delap and João Pedro, and we've got the financial muscle to make the decisions that are right for the club long term. That's all we've got time for tonight, but make sure you stay tuned because this story is developing by the hour. Subscribe for more exclusive Chelsea content and let us know in the comments what you think should happen. Should we cash in or should we keep building around our current squad? The choice might not be ours for much longer. Keep the blue flag flying high, and we'll see you next time.